Hey you guys, how are you all? I would love to hear in the comments how your experience of life is right now. It's been a lot of energy coming into this planet, and I will, in this video, talk about information that came through in my last channeling from the blue beings that I channel. And I will talk about the energies that we have been in May and what we are in June, and how that is connecting to or leading up to this solstice, and also connecting to the next solstice in December of 24. I will come back to that in the last part of this video, because first I want to go into the part where they talked about whether we are actually in what people have been talking about as the big event. If the solar flares that we are in now is actually the event. And when they answered this question, they also went into what this shift in consciousness actually is. A bit more detailed, so I will explain a bit of that as well. I will look at my notes, because when I'm listening to my trance channelings, there's so much information, so I just need to take notes of everything. It's impossible to remember all. So I will try to go through this as clear as possible, and if you have any questions, please ask in the comments, and I will clarify in either the comments or in future videos. So always feel free to ask me if you have any questions. Now, when it comes to whether or not we are actually in the event, they said yes, but the event is not really what a lot of people are referring to, because what they said is that it's very often referred to as a moment in time. So it's like an event and then everything shifts, and this is not how it is. But many people have seen it like that, because they have for a brief moment seen it from the perspective outside of this planet, so outside of this dimensional field, and then it will look like a moment, just like a human life looks like. It's like a blink of an eye, because it's not that dragged out time as we experience in this time-space reality. So yes, what we are in is a part of what people refer to as the event, but no, the event is not like a single shift or one huge solar flare or anything like that. What I said is that the particles, or the frequency that is coming from the sun, activates light codes in our DNA. And this is actually what is the event. So it's actually about becoming more aware of who you are. So the ascension, or the event, or whatever we want to term it, this shift in consciousness, in this evolution of the human that we are in, is about remembrance. Because when this light is coming in, it's activating our DNA, and that makes it so that we remember more of who we are. That shifts everything. That shifts the way of experiencing a human life. And yes, the energy coming from the sun and all of these flares that we're having from the sun, they have a lot of impact on this, because it's the particles and it's the frequency coming from the sun that is actually, at this moment in time, being the major source of activation for us, because it's activating what is already held in our DNA, but it's just turning it on. I hope this makes sense for you. Then what they continued to explain is that the human body adapts to the energy that is coming in. And this adaptation of the human body, that is the evolution that we are in. So this is why we talk about why embodiment is so important. This is why we talk about, I mean, many are talking about this. I do talk a lot about embodiment. And it's also why, for example, I do talk a lot about not always searching outside of ourselves, or trying to like go out of body or something, because the main shifts happens in the body, because the shifting consciousness is about a connection between the stream of consciousness, or the soul, the light that you are, and this physical body. Because the more we can hold of this, and the more we can remember that we are actually holding that in our body, that means a deeper, much deeper connection between that stream of consciousness, that light, the soul coming into the body and the actual physical body, that activates and that creates the remembrance and that shifts the physical body. So what I said is that the human body has a potential and capabilities that is beyond what the human thinks and knows. So very often we have, of course, limited beliefs around this, because our beliefs are created from the experiences that we have had and of, what our brains can track. And our brains is a record of the past. So we believe very often that what our bodies can do is what we have experienced it to do, or what we have at least seen others being capable of doing. But what this body is capable of is way beyond what we think at the moment, and also way beyond what we actually know that it can. Because we do know, to a certain extent, abilities we have and technologies that are coming online in the body, but there's much more than we actually know that is a potential lying there and waiting for us. Now, how yes, and they said that the human body adapts to the consciousness that it is holding. And now when we know that we have this human body, and we know that we are a higher consciousness, because we are not really this body, we are a higher consciousness that is coming into this body, how is it that the body adapts to that consciousness and doesn't evolve like this, for example? And what I said is that it's about the remembrance and the awareness of that stream of consciousness coming in, and the depth of which we can actually merge those two. So the more we seek out of the body, the less awareness we will have of the stream of consciousness coming into the body, and the less the body will activate. Does this make sense to you guys? So, and also they said that very often we think of the soul or our light as sort of like a chunk of energy. There's like this chunk of energy, and it's in some sort of a dimension, and then it's like we're just bumping that into the physical body, and that's not how it works. It is actually a stream of consciousness, which is also why we can have streams going into different lives at different times, or at the same time, parallel lives, parallel experiences, all of this, which I will not go more into in this video, but this is the connection, right? So it's more helpful to think of the light coming into the body from the higher consciousness, from who you truly are, right, as a stream of consciousness rather than a chunk of energy. And the way this energy connects to the human brain specifically, and this also has to do with the pituitary and the pineal gland, is the way we get this energy throughout the body, and is also connected to the DNA activating. And this is about embodiment, this is about remembrance, because if this energy is just coming in, but we don't let it merge with the body, we will have, like, that is what will create a very different experience of being a human being in the future than it has been in the past, in our linear way of understanding time, because the body adapts to this awareness and remembrance. So it's all very, very interconnected. So this is what, to quite an extent, decides the level of awareness of a human being. So then we know that the brain is really important. We know that the glands in the human body, all of the glands, but particularly they talked about pituitary gland and the pineal gland in this channeling, and the nervous system is important. So there we have the connection of how, also the mind can, and the focus of our mind, using our brain, emotional addiction, for example, of the chemistry that is made in the brain, how this can actually create very physical, biological shifts in the body, and how this is really, really crucial when it comes and to understand and to become aware and to use this in order to actually develop our level of consciousness or the depth of awareness. And also when it comes to healing the physical body, if we have any challenges with that. So this is all really, really interconnected. This is the core of the evolution of the shifting consciousness, of the change into the new human that many people refer to. They said that the glands activates the body, and according to the depth or the level between the stream of consciousness and the body. So this is the remembrance, like I just explained, right? This allows, so when this is coming in, when we become aware of it, when we allow this and we understand that it's all interconnected, and we allow more of this to come in, and with this comes the clearing, as we've been talking about before, right, of things that are it's bumping into on its way around in the body. There's denser consciousness, it's denser energy held from experiences, from traumas, etc., that will be highlighted, and we have to let go of instead of attaching to it with our minds. Letting go of doesn't mean that I can't, like, I have to deny it. Not at all. It has to do with actually allowing it to be felt through, so that the body doesn't have to hide from it or hold it. Because when we're hiding from it or we're trying to avoid something, we are also really energetically aware of it, which means that we're still feeding it energetically. So again, this is all connected. I have been talking about this in previous videos, so I won't go too much into that part of it in this video. Then, yes, this is what allows for the body to remember the stream of consciousness that is there. So through the nervous system, through the brain, the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, and the system of the glands in the body activates, and it starts remembering more and more of the stream of consciousness coming in, so that we remember that, oh my goodness, I am actually this energy coming into my body. And as this happens, the level of awareness that we can hold in this physical experience of being a human allows for more to turn on, and the physical body to shift and turn into the technology, to get that technology online and to turn into, activate what it has of potential and capabilities. Because then we also have an awareness that can hold it. I hope this makes sense for you. And so they said that the brain, to a large extent, gives the information through the central nervous system and the glands to the rest of the body. Again, this is what activates and makes it so that we can get another level of awareness. When the body is ready and we are receiving the right codes that are coming mostly from the sun at this specific point in time of the evolution, then this starts happening. Then it starts turning on the DNA, and the connection between the body and the stream of consciousness deepens. And this merge is the main point of the evolution of the human consciousness. So I really, really hope that with this you get a much deeper understanding of what the evolution in the human consciousness actually is, and also the importance of embodiment and the importance of being aware of our focus, the brain, the central nervous system, the balancing in the body, all of these things, how important that is for everything. Because very often we hear talk about either like the energy of something or the very physical experience of something, and we tend to forget how really, really connected it is, and how the depth of the awakening the depth of the awareness is actually the merging of that stream of consciousness coming into the body and the body. So I will just quickly now go into the May and June part. What I said is that May was mainly because there was a question coming in on whether May was a peak point or whether the solstice will be a peak point. And what I said is that it really depends a lot on your perspective. So they would say that May has been mainly an energetic experience. So it's from an energetic perspective, it's been a peak point. Now June is going to be more physical. And solstice, or around solstice, because again they take a bit of a step back from being too attached to specific dates like we can be. But what I said is that it's going to be, you know, around the time of the solstice, and June is going to be more of a physical experience. And so many human beings, because the physical experience gets or tends to get more attention or be more in our experience, really, so that many will experience June as more of a peak point, because it's going to be physically more of a peak, whilst May was energetically a peak. They said that water, they said also that nature and Mother Earth is also going to have physical expressions that are going to be stronger or more like it's going to be more of it, because Earth herself is also adjusting. So around solstice, that meaning a bit before until a bit after, we can probably see more physical expressions from her as well. And I said that when it comes to water, so remember in the channeling I did about this year, they called 2024 the year of the waters. And this is something that I keep coming back to throughout the whole of this year. I will link that video I made on it in the description box in case you haven't seen it, so you can catch up on that. They said that when we're talking about the rest of this year, we are sort of moving into more of an equilibrium when it comes to water. And this goes with both the earth and our bodies. So around solstice of June, there will be a lack of water for many people, and there will be too much water for many people. So there will be a lot of extremes when it comes to the very physical experience of water on this planet. They said that this imbalance will be experienced throughout this planet until the next solstice. So then we're talking about December 2024. And that is when we are starting to come more into an equilibrium, they said. They also said that many people will have visions of cracks. And these will be very clear visions of cracks in the earth that is actually like cracking up because it's so dry. The reason why they see this like drying up and falling apart is just that. It is because we need to get the right equilibrium. We need to understand this on a deeper level, really, in our bodies as well. And the earth is going through the same experience. So it is about adjustments. When it comes to the human body, as I said, it's the same. It has to do with emotions, which is the water element, and it has to do with hydration. Many people will then experience emotional challenges, water element, and the more disconnected someone is from their emotions, the bigger the chance of a psychotic break. And this is because now they said this really clearly, there's no other direction than into the body if you're not opting out. And of course, between a psychotic break and full connection with self, there is a spectrum, like there's a huge scale. And they said that be aware as well, because the human mind will very easily try to attach and try to understand where on the scale am I, what is happening now, because many people will experience also things with the health, and then it's like, oh, is this a thing that is just going to pass right now, that I'm just moving through rather quickly, or is this something that is serious that I should, pay more attention to? What is this? Where on the scale am I? And this is where we start using the mind in a way that is, for the most part, not helpful on our journey. And they said, when you find yourself going into that, and always, whether you contact a doctor or not, this is your choice. You follow your intuition, you follow what you feel is right for you. I'm not saying either or is the correct thing. Okay, this is some channeled information. We're talking about the energy first and foremost. The experience we have when it comes to that balance, if we can then come back to water, because we know that there's a lot moving in our bodies now that has to do with water. It has to do with hydration, and it has to do with emotions. So if when we get caught up in something, can come back to connecting with the water in our bodies and connecting with our emotions, that will help us to ground into the body rather than being caught up in the mind and in the loops of the thoughts and the fear and all of this. So the more you can, when you start trying to attach to something or understand something too much, and you're like, okay, now I'm in this mind game and loop again of my human just trying to control and understand everything. Connect to the water in your body, connect to your emotions, because that will help you drop back into the body and be in contact with whatever is trying to move in your body. So there's the emotional challenges, and there will be a lot of people experiencing things having to do with the nervous system as well. And this has to do also with the water, because the water in our bodies are moving the charge. So the charge, the electrical charge that is moving through our nervous system, it's important that we stay hydrated for that to move coherently. So anything that can help you moving into heart-brain coherence, anything that helps you to be more hydrated. And there they also said about tips of this. They said a lot of humans, and again, I'm not a medical doctor, so you do with your body what feels right to you, whether you want to talk with someone about this or not. But what I said is that a lot of humans at this moment are in the lower range of magnesium in the body. So a lot of people would get help from getting more minerals, and specifically magnesium. And they also said that salt can help in the sense of having rocks, like salt rocks, they said, in your hands while meditating because of the charge. So if you guys are trying that, let me know how that functions, because I've never heard of that before. I thought that was very interesting. Yes, I see this video is already getting pretty long. I really hope this was helpful for you guys. Please ask if you have any questions. I will be back with more videos from channelings. I do have more to listen through and take some notes from. And also, if you put any questions in the comment section, many of those questions I will come back to in channelings, so that I can get deeper perspectives on it and come back with it in video. So please feel free always to ask any questions there. And all of my personal information on contacting me for personal sessions, my social media, all of that you can also find in the description box below. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for being here. See you soon. Bye bye.